Welcome to Pressplay, Vanita.
Thanks, Vinit. Thank you for inviting me.
Fantastic to have the media guru and a major contributor and the foremost journalist in the media entertainment space, contributing to several publications over the years. It's a pleasure to have Vanita Kohli Khandekar as a guest for Pressplay's seventh podcast. For many of you, Vanita needs no introduction. However, I will still let Vanita introduce herself to the audience. Vanita, over to you.
Okay. Well, I write on the business media and entertainment for Business Standard, and I write on and off for a Singapore-based publication called Content Asia. I also write for a trade publication called Music Plus on the business of music. So, there'll be stories around the music funds or stuff like that. I I'm an MBA by training. I stumbled totally by chance into business journalism, and I have done 6 books on the business of media. 5 of them are editions of the same book, The Indian Media Business, and the sixth one is a book on the making of Star India. That is roughly my area of work, everything to do around the business of media and entertainment. I love that area, and that's what I work around.
Wow, awesome. So, as you heard, when one thinks of thought leaders and subject matter experts on the Indian media space and its evolution, Vanita ma'am's name is pretty much synonymous with this. So Vanita, my first question to you
Yeah, yeah.
is basically how far have we come over the last, let's say, decade, and where are we headed? There is so much going on. We have just seen 12 plus months of a pandemic,
Correct.
disruption in the media entertainment space. There is OTT exploding, rise of regional language cinema, theater struggling. There's so much going on. We
Correct.
would love to hear your thoughts.
Um, okay, let me put it in perspective. Okay. In 2013, which is when I did the last edition of my book. So I'm just fresh from the fifth edition of my book. I've just sent it to the publishers, Vineet.
Awesome.
So a lot of data is floating in my head, and a lot of stuff is floating in my head. So I'm coming from there. So in 2013, the M&E industry in India was about 918 million rupees. Okay, which is I think about 91,800 whatever crore. Uh,
Right.
Over 7 years, it doubled in size in till 2019. Within 7 years, you had the media and entertainment industry, and I include in this print, TV, digital, radio, music, outdoor events, everything. Okay, so that doubled in size. But in the last 2 years, of course, we've all faced challenging times. So the first wave knocked out about a fourth of the industry, and now this year I don't know what will happen, 2021, but 2020 knocked out. So we are back to 2016 levels in terms of size as an industry, and I'm not even talking about the subtextual thing of how we'll rebuild many of the businesses that are formed parts of this industry. But it is still a significant, it is a large industry in India. It's less than 1% contribution to GDP. It is a huge employer. About 6 million or 7 million people are employed by this industry. Huge generator of taxes, whether on the film side, the music side, the TV side, every which way. Um, I mean, to me, this industry it represents the best of India. It represents our storytelling abilities, our technological abilities, our abilities as a software power. So our soft and hard abilities as a nation. The soft power in terms of our storytelling capabilities, and the hard power in terms of our IT skills, our technology and software skills. It's a phenomenal combination of these. And I wish it was a bigger industry, honestly, because I think the potential for this industry is huge. But right now, the whole industry itself would be less than half the size of, let's say, Walt Disney Company globally. So in terms of sheer size, when you compare it to global companies,
Right.
not industries, we're very small.
Hmm.
Sorry, I don't know if this answers your
Got
question.
it. Got it. No, no, it does. It does. I think, it clearly shares, details about where we have come from. And uh, just digging a little deeper into this broader question,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, there has been this huge talk about uh, theaters.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, that was the common man's, common Indian person's outlet. You know,
Mm.
they used to go to a theater, enjoy with the family, watch a fantastic movie, come home, and now it's moved to OTT. But that space, the theater versus OTT, direct to OTT, that is also seeing so much change and so many conflicting ideas of what needs to be done. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
It is not changed to people only watching OTT. That is only the pandemic related
Right.
change, right? I mean, it's not that, I mean, 2019 was one of the best years for the film industry.
Right.
And by the way, 2018 is when OTT really took off in India. OTTs are doing very well in India, but it
Hmm.
hasn't impacted theaters at all.
Hmm.
Theaters did booming business in both those years. If you
Hmm.
look at the numbers,
Hmm.
we sold record tickets. More than 1 billion tickets were sold in India.
Hmm.
Theaters form about 60% of film industry's revenue, film business's revenues.
Hmm.
So, I don't think it's a either or. This is something everybody who's in the digital business loves to think that it will replace everything in our lives. It will not.
Correct.
Everything grows concurrently. It is simultaneous.
Yes.
So, when you look at the top 20 news sites in the country, 18 of them are from legacy media companies. You look at the top OTTs in this country, three
Hmm.
of them are from legacy media companies. What is MX Player? It's from Times Group.
Hmm.
What is Disney Hotstar? It's from Star.
Hmm. Hmm.
Correct? So, these are all, every new technology which comes is an extension, brings an extension to generate more revenues for any media company.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
digital brought extended the life of the music industry business and extended how the music industry could generate revenue. Similarly, it's extending what the print industry or what. So, the physical product might go down, the digital might go up. But
Hmm.
essentially, we need, what is our business about? It is about getting people attracted to a story, an idea, a documentary, a thought, whatever, a piece of music, right? That's
Right.
what this business is about. You
Hmm.
want people, when you're doing this podcast, you want people to be attracted to this podcast and come to listen to it because
Hmm.
you want Pressplay to be popular.
Hmm.
That is what it. And then you monetize this in some way or the other. You may not be monetizing Pressplay directly, but let's say it
Hmm.
helps you with your venture.
Yeah.
Similarly, a large media company will, if I get 50 million viewers, I
Hmm.
am going to sell them to advertisers or I will start charging them and make money. That is the fundamental, basic, the
Hmm.
ABC of this business.
Right.
Tell something which gets an audience and then monetize it some way or the other. That is the media business. There you can put hajar bells and whistles all around it. It will mean nothing.
Right.
Okay, you can say digital ये कर देगा और pixel ये animation में ये हो जाएगा and this
Right.
film में. Now, it is, films do the same thing, newspapers do the same thing, radio does the
Correct.
same thing, everybody does the same.
Correct.
Now, to answer
Correct.
your question specifically, uh, OTT has not substituted anything.
Right.
Even during the pandemic, theaters were shut because legally they're required to be shut. They're still shut in most parts of the country. And therefore, the film industry has suffered hugely. 60%, 62% of the industry is wiped out.
Hmm.
So I don't know how it will recover because theaters are very critical to. And remember, the film industry is what is populating your OTT content.
Yes.
Without the film industry, there'll be nothing on OTT. There'll
Absolutely.
be no shows, there'll be no dramas. So film industry is what has populated television in the 80s, 90s, turn of the millennium. It is now populated. It is the Gangotri of everything that happens in this country
Hmm. Hmm.
in
Hmm.
terms of content, whether it's music, whether it's advertising, whether it's OTT, whether it's TV. Everything originates from this.
Right. Right. Wow. That's a big big blow.
Sorry,
And
sorry, sorry, sorry. I went all over the place on that one.
no, no problem. That's fine. I mean, no, this is very very valuable. So I think OTT and theaters, obviously, OTT is just a means to an end. It's a medium.
Mm.
People are watching. At the end of the day, content is king, right? There is no platform loyalty as we have seen. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but just wanted to, what is your view on the way films are made going forward? Because if theaters are going to be shut for an extended period of time, what are the economics going to look like now for filmmaking? Because if they know that they have to release it on OTT first, or they might have to, then does that impact the format, the economics?
Of course it does. If for the next 2 3 years there is no theatrical release there, you will not see any big budget releases first. So
Hmm.
Aradhe was stuck for several months, and then they chose an OTT release because they had no choice. They had to do it on OTT. But Radhe, and it will never do well on OTT because it
Hmm.
will always get, because the OTT audience is, it's not one audience, it's several audiences. But
Right.
this is an audience which is brought up on Netflix and Amazon Prime Video.
Hmm.
A Radhe is a movie you walk into the theater and you siti bajao and you have fun watching it.
Great
It's
point.
it's
Exactly.
it's a it's you. Those movies will never do well on OTT.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those movies will not be made. So Lal Singh's Chadda, which is Amir Khan's, which is
Hmm.
the licensed version of Forrest Gump in India,
Yeah.
is not going to, cannot be released on OTT. I mean, just it just loses its power as a
Yeah.
film. If you've seen Forrest Gump,
Yeah. 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 Even
so
83, right? 83 coming up is such a big movie.
yeah, yeah. So so you, everybody I have spoken to, and I just did a series on the film industry, on the film business, sorry, and they said that we have to shoot smaller, more intimate films, and also OTT as a medium is given to smaller, more intimate films. You can do the creature films, the Avenger films, etc., have released in the theater. OTT is one additional revenue stream for them.
Hmm.
But if OTT is the main revenue stream, then it'll be small. So you see a film like See You Soon, it's a Malayalam film,
Mm-hmm.
or you see a film like Joji, which are small, intimate. Not Joji is not so small, intimate, but See You Soon is a small, intimate film.
Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
meant for it is a sort of film meant for an OTT release.
Hmm. Hmm.
A Paglet or a even a Gulabo Sitabo can do okay on OTT.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
a Lal Singh Chadda, a Radhe, even some of the movies that Dhanush is doing in, they're big.
Yeah. Right.
Some of the Telugu movies,
Yeah.
they are the big screen. And Telugu, I mean, for example, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana are big single screen markets where people
Yes.
come to the screen there, they sing, they dance with the movie.
Yeah.
And even when you and I go, I went, the only movie I've seen in the last 1 year in the theater is Tenet. Tenet is
Right.
a big screen movie. You cannot
Yes.
see it on OTT.
Completely
It's
agree.
like saying you see Interstellar on OTT.
Right.
It,
There's no
it
way.
just makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And
So
yeah.
what it will mean for the film business, therefore, of course, it uh, destroys the revenue streams by 60% straight off. So
Hmm.
60% is knocked off. You're depending on 40% revenues. So your budgets will have to go down only to recover that 40%. You
Hmm.
cannot aim for a budget which gets you the 100 rupees. You have to
Yeah.
aim for a budget which will get you up to 40 rupees. So you'll start making films in 15 20 rupees now.
Right.
I'm talking indexes. These are not actual figures, of course.
Yeah. 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 Get it. Get it.
And the second thing it will do is it will completely stop uh, the making of any, not just because of the economics. Remember that we are going through a pandemic. So
Hmm.
shooting big films requires large crews. So there's a Malayalam film called Malik.
Mm-hmm.
On any, I was speaking to Mahesh Narayanan, the guy who made See You Soon and
Mm-hmm.
who's made Malik. Malik is not released yet. He
Mm-hmm.
stopped shooting. He said Malik was like 1,500, 2,000 people a day some days. So
Hmm.
you to
Hmm.
to do a Malik kind of shoot, you
Hmm.
can't do it during the pandemic,
Yeah.
right? So
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
why he made See You Soon, which was like 10 crew, two actors,
Hmm.
distance. It was a phone movie.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen See You Soon. It's shot through,
I've heard
and
about it. Yeah.
you can view it only through the mobile phone.
Yeah. Right.
Mm.
Right. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that leads me to my next question, right? So,
Huh?
there's a disruption in the media space, clearly, like every industry pretty much
Huh?
during the
Uh-huh.
pandemic. And then
Uh-huh.
now eyeballs are moving to OTT. Now,
Uh-huh.
being a technologist myself, the other trend I'm seeing is there are so many content businesses now
Mm-hmm.
who are in the process of starting their own OTT platforms because they see this shift.
Mm.
And it's a pretty quick shift if you think about it. In 12 months, we pretty much, started getting used to paying for content in a massive way, if I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is now used to paying for content online in some form or the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
now there are these content businesses that are looking at the OTT play very seriously and wanting to start their own platforms.
बराबर. हाँ.
So, what is your take? Like, there is, there are what 50 plus now, 50 plus OTT platforms in the country, and I would love to hear your take on this. Like, is there a market for everyone? Is it more the merrier, or is this a cause for consolidation?
um, okay, the problems of being older and having been around for for long is that I've got a lot of parallels from the past which you have to suffer now. But
Right, right, right.
um, in the 90s, when satellite TV took off in India, a lot
Uh-huh.
of production houses were born.
Hmm.
Balaji, Creative Eye, Hajar, many of
Hmm.
them,
Hmm. Hmm.
DJs,
Hmm.
like dozens and dozens and dozens of them were born.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And there were, at that time, there were 4 or 5 main broadcasters, then many more content. And many
Hmm.
of these production houses became broadcasters themselves. At one point, there was this big fear that Balaji would become a broadcaster, to fir star ka kya hoga, and all that,
Hmm.
because
Hmm. Hmm.
it was the main production house for all the shows, hit shows
Right.
on Star Plus.
Hmm.
Sub TV, which we know as Sub TV now, was
Yeah.
actually Sri Adhikari Brothers, which was a production house
Right.
which launched its own channel. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, God, there are so many examples.
Hmm.
UTV
Hmm. Hmm.
was a production house which launched its
Hmm.
own channels. Okay, then eventually got sold to Disney, etc.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this thing of content people getting into the platform business themselves is as old as time. And
Hmm.
it is bound to happen because you are the generator of the main value in this business. And especially in the OTT space. In the film space, it was difficult. You had to rent a transponder on a satellite and do all sorts of things. In the
Hmm.
OTT space, it is getting your former company, Brightcove, into the play, or somebody else into the play. And
Hmm.
like you said, you launched a news channel within a week. You
Hmm.
can launch an OTT within a week, 10 days, 1 month.
Hmm.
It is
Hmm.
not months and months of permissions and
Hmm.
huge capital outlays, etc. The big
Hmm.
capital outlay will be content, the big capital outlay will be technology, the big capital outlay will be marketing.
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know so
Good
it
point.
is it is normal that this will happen. It is given that this will happen.
Hmm.
Okay. Netflix is the only company I know which has
Hmm.
not which started purely as a platform company and continues to be a platform company.
Hmm.
Remember that Disney and many of the big ones, usually especially in America, many of the large broadcasters have their own production arms.
Yeah.
So they are their own content producers. They will license and take from other people also.
Hmm.
So many
Hmm.
of them, for Amazon, for example, the reason was different. They wanted to sell more shoes and products and everything.
Right.
So they
Right.
started a video service. So
Right.
each of them comes in, and production houses getting into platform is given. It will happen.
Hmm.
It will go through the same trajectory as TV,
Hmm.
and on everything, whether it is launching more languages, launching more platforms, it'll go through. You will see many of them come in, do well in the short term. Then the
Right.
overcrowding happens. So it's about 60 OTTs. I'm going by Media Partners Asia data. They said
Right.
there were 60 OTTs last. They calculated.
There you go.
uh,
Right.
it will go down. And
Hmm.
like somebody said, I think this Vivek only at the Media Partners Asia convention, he said that where is the aggregator? You need an aggregator. So you need the Tata Sky equivalent or the Dish TV equivalent in this space. You
Right.
will need it very soon,
Hmm.
because what each OTT is each OTT is exactly what a broadcaster was in the 90s or the 2000s,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I'm coming with an array of channels for you and an array of shows for you and this and that. But now there are 60 of me, then there'll be 100 of me, then there'll be 200 of me.
Hmm.
So India has something like 850, 860 channels right now, but they are distributed largely among 5 or 6 broadcasters.
Yeah.
That consolidation happened about
Right.
5, 7 years back. So OTT will go through the same trajectory. You will see so much splintering and so much. But I think the two things that will happen along with this thing is the rise of at least 1 or 2 good aggregators has to happen. And
Hmm.
B, I think consolidation is a long, long, I don't see it happening for another decade. You have to let the market flourish first.
Correct.
And then when it
Correct.
matures a little, costs go too high. Right now, costs are not such a big issue, especially on the content side, because India is such a content flush market.
Yeah.
I hate the term content, by the way, Vinita. It dehumanizes. We tell stories.
Right, right,
We
right,
tell
right, right.
stories, we make shows, we make dramas, we make music, we make news. So
Yes,
it's content makes it sound very, but it's a tech term and it is easily understandable, so I use it.
agreed, 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 agreed.
But it dehumanizes what we are doing
And
actually.
you're not the first one on the other side who has told this to me. Like, stop saying it content. It's a story.
Yeah, or a
It's
show or a piece of
valuable and
news.
exciting material. Yeah,
Correct, correct, correct.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's the point. The point is that you will see the rise of aggregator. I think the first thing you will see is a lot of the guys get in, yes.
yeah. Hmm.
You will see the rise of aggregators as the rush increases. You will see a lot of splintering in terms of languages, price packs,
Hmm.
dialects. You could see a lot of things happening, and whether it is music, whether it's news, whether it's entertainment, across the board.
Okay, got it. Awesome, good stuff, Vanita. This was really, really valuable nuggets. Now, so just before let me change things up a little bit and change tracks to talk a little bit about your academic pursuits. And I think personally it's a great endeavor to teach students about the Indian media industry via a structured curriculum. So, what was the genesis for that idea for you? You have a book, in the market, which has a new edition coming up. So, share some more thoughts and ideas, and the way you are thinking about this.
Okay, you asked for this now. It was in 2001. I had been invited to teach at the St. Xavier's Institute at the PR and Communication. I think it was that course. I don't hold me to this. I don't remember.
Okay.
And I remember telling my students that you should. So I had given them some overview after 2 3 lectures. I said, there must be some. Just pick up the book on media, whichever you have, and just see. There will be a. So they all said that there's no book on media, on Indian media. So
Mm.
I was quite surprised because I thought, it was a reasonably evolved industry, especially on the print side. I would have thought that by then there somebody would have written a book, but there was clearly no book, and I was young and foolish. So I said, okay, let me write the book, and I attempted it. And in 2003, the first edition of the Indian Media Business came out. It is inspired a lot by Harold Vogel's entertainment industry economics, though it does not have the same rigor because we don't have the same set of statistics available to us.
Right.
But essentially, it breaks up the industry into its segments: print, TV, music, radio, digital, whatever. In 2003, there was no digital.
Mm.
And you break it up, and in each chapter I take you through the business dynamics. I tell you, this is what's happening in the industry right now. This is the past of the industry. So let's say newspapers developed from the freedom struggle. TV mein cable mein kya hua, all the wars that happened in the 80s and the 90s with cable, all of that I take you through. Then I take you through regulations which a lawyer puts together for me,
Hmm.
and I give you a glimpse of the future of the business. And of course, I take you through the business dynamics in terms, for TV, for example, I'll explain to you what is ratings, how they calculated, what is the situation right now,
Hmm.
how ad time is sold and bought, all of that. So it's a basic bread butter book with with a lot of perspective, and I'll peek into the future, peek at the present, and there's a huge middle which tells you this is the structure of the industry. The idea was to serve students, but it also became a huge ready reckoner for many investors, foreigners, people who were entering the industry for the first time. So
Yeah.
the book now textbook at almost most mass comm schools in India, or courses that teach media and entertainment, and it is part of South Asian media studies curriculum in several universities abroad, and one or two of them I've lectured at also.
Nice.
So that's there, and the fifth edition has just been sent to the publishers. It is published by Sage, by the way.
Mhm.
So the fifth edition is the Indian media business, pandemic and after. So I'm looking at the pre-pandemic growth till 2019, and then I'm saying that post-pandemic, this is what has happened, and this is what could happen. That's where we are. And
Wow.
of course,
Wow.
based on the book, Micah had invited me to, this is long back, Vineet, in 2007 or so, I
Hmm.
think.
Hmm.
Micah had asked me to create a course. So I did a 30 lecture course at Micah for 3 years. I did that course.
Mm-hmm.
I've taught at Symbiosis, at Manipal, at Hyderabad University, maybe a couple of lectures at the ISB,
Wow, nice.
several places, Wellinger. But now I can't, I don't teach very regularly. Honestly, I hardly teach.
Right.
Uh, just time constraints. But it helped. The book is an important thing, not just for me. I think for anybody who wants to look at the Indian media business and also have some basic understanding of it. Sorry, I went on a bit.
Superb, superb. No, this is really amazing. I think, if so, by the way, what date is this fifth edition coming out?
Fifth edition should be out, I've been told, by September.
Okay,
It's
September
just been
2000.
sent to the publisher, so it takes 2-3 months from manuscript to
Right, right,
settling it.
right, right. Amazing. So, for the audience listening, coming out in September 2021 is the Indian Media Business Book by Vanita Kohli Khandekar, Indian Pandemic and After. Watch out for that. Awesome.
And by the way, the book is also translated in Hindi and Marathi. It has
Good.
been earlier,
Even
so it
better,
will be
even
this
better.
one.
Good, good strategy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. Thank you, Vanita.
So, and the other thing I must tell you this, by the way, and I think a lot of listeners might know this. I use it also to teach my son. So he's learning German, and he's also now learning Marathi because we are in the process of teaching him Marathi.
Mm-hmm.
So I make him watch any film which has subtitles available in, which has audio available in German on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, class idea.
हाँ, and he watches me. So because भाषा आप कैसे सीखते हो? भाषा आपके कान में पड़ेगी, आप बोलोगे
Hmm.
तभी. Films are a great way to learn languages.
Yeah,
Huge, huge, huge.
brilliant
So
point.
he watched Despicable Me, the whole series, Incredibles, everything in German with German audio. He watched Men in Black, the entire series with Marathi audio because Marathi
Oh,
audio was available. And it was child friendly. He's 12, so I can't show him everything.
right.
So you watched it. So it is the OTT is
Amazing.
fantastic for being the Indian that you are and the multilingual that you are.
Yeah.
Those things, so my favorite OTTs from a content perspective, I like Amazon and Netflix. From a UI perspective, completely Netflix. Netflix is, I think, 100 times above anybody else as far as just ease of use is concerned.
Yep.
Not the best library, definitely.
Yep. I love the Netflix play something feature, right? Where, as you said, you don't have to rack your brain and they know some history about you and there's a great level of personalization. It doesn't work every time,
No,
but
it doesn't. My
but
son watches anime on my profile. So I'm being shown anime all the time, but I don't watch any.
But
So
as you said, if you're on a Saturday night, you want to just watch something and you don't want to rack your brain to figure out, read the metadata and the story and Google stuff and
I
all.
know,
Just play
exactly.
something, right? So that's
Exactly.
good. That's good. Great, great, great. Awesome. And on a parting note, Vanita, you as a professional, we obviously heard a lot of stories from you on the podcast. The audience would love to hear a little about Vanita's interests, hobbies, or passions beyond the media world.
You're talking to me in the middle of a pandemic, so right now all I want is a nice holiday in Europe or somewhere above the hills. But I do love to take nice holidays. I love cooking. I'd like to think I'm a good cook. At least my family thinks I'm a good cook. I love cooking, so it's my stress buster, especially on weekends. I can't do the daily dal chawal thing. Roj ka main nahi karungi, but I will definitely cook 4, 5, 6 meals a week at least, if not more. And I love reading. I love watching anything on TV, OTT, wherever. I can watch 5 series at the same time and finish them within 1 month, which means that I don't end up working much. But I can watch so much content, it's not funny. I mean, my husband sometimes says, "Can I have the TV?" Sometimes, so there is that, and that's about it. It's cooking, and traveling with my family. We just love taking our holidays. So our holidays are sacrosanct, and which is something we've missed in the last 2 years almost now.
Yeah,
That's
this has been Vanita. Thank you so much for being part of this podcast. I think the last 30 minutes has been an education and inspiration for me, and I'm sure the viewers listening will find this very insightful. Watch out for that book launch, folks, coming up in September. And Vanita, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Vineet, and sorry to the listeners for holding forth so much, but I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Thanks.
Thank you.